Welcome to Wake Up with Joni, the podcast where spiritual awakening meets real life, real conversations, and real courage, where you are encouraged to stop performing, start telling the truth, and remember who you are. Today's guest is proof that midlife isn't a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. Sandra Lena Silverman is an author, speaker, beauty rebel. I love that. An unapologetic truth teller who dares to say what so many women are thinking, but rarely say out loud. She's the host of The Party's Over, a laugh through the tears show for women who wake up one day and realize that youth, marriage, and perfect skin don't come with a refund policy. Those were her words. So I can't take credit for that. Sandra's journey didn't begin with a microphone. It began with a mirror and a reckoning. So we get to find out what that means. Through candor, heartbreak, Botox, and bold reinvention, she challenges outdated lies about beauty, aging, and love. Very refreshing. So I just want to say your message is clear to me, and I'm excited to have you on the show. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. So, first of all, for the people who can't see you, and you will be on YouTube too, so there's both versions, you're lovely and you
Thank
don't look
you.
middle-aged. Although
Thank you.
I was reading the other day that middle-aged is technically 37 or 38.
Is it really? I thought
Yeah,
middle age was in 40s, but
or
I didn't
50.
realize before. But what's middle age? It's 37?
Wait, what? Let's rewind that. You're 54?
Yes.
Oh my God, I have shoes that are 54. So middle-aged technically, people live to be about the average around 76, 78.
Okay.
So
Oh,
with that would
wow.
be 37, 38, right? To
That would be.
me, I didn't hit middle age until I was 50, which would make me 100 in the end.
Wow. Wait, so
I
well,
think
how old
it's,
are
go
how old
ahead.
are you?
I'm 65.
What, you look amazing. I would have never guessed.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I rarely mention it on the podcast, although I'm not ashamed of it. And it is
Mhm.
part of the journey. I just talk about being an old crone and all the things, the wisdom that comes with it, etc. It has been a hard one journey to get where I am. So I'm really fascinated by your story. Let's begin there. When you
Okay.
say the reckoning, what was your dark night of the soul? How did you this trajectory?
Started The procedure started when I was 27. So I met my ex when I was 26. And a month into our relationship, the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, your body's soft and you need to go to the gym." I didn't understand what that meant. I just thought, okay, so I need to go to the gym. And that's the very first moment in my life where I actually thought that there was something wrong with me subconsciously without realizing that there wasn't. But I guess because when someone insults you, your mind plays tricks on you. So I thought, okay, I need to go to the gym. So I didn't really think much of it consciously, but subconsciously it must have really bothered me because I went on this whole path of self improvement, multiple surgeries. So the first part of my book is all about the external work that I've done. And then the second part was the internal work, which should have been reversed. So I went through this whole journey, this marriage with this guy lasted 27 years. We're now getting divorced. And he's showed so many narcissistic traits, which I ignored pretty much all of them, not realizing there were signs from the beginning. And I was young, so I didn't know. I just thought, okay, this is just normal. And fast forward, I decided to write the book because so many people have asked me questions about this procedure, that procedure, beauty treatments. So I thought, how about I just write a book, have experts in the book, and then it's like a guide, but written in a very humorous way. So that's basically what started the whole process. I had done all this work, this whole journey, and then wanted to share it with other women.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I am going to ask you in a minute, I'm going to
Okay.
ask you which ones you would do again.
Okay.
But before we get there,
Okay.
people out there who don't know, narcissism has a scale, right?
Yes.
There's selfishness, and then there's
Mhm.
malicious narcissism, which is way on the other side, and it's incredibly destructive. We don't know. Usually, narcissists pick on people who are empathetic and
Yes.
kind. But when you're an empathetic and kind person, there's a projection that other people are empathetic and kind because that's your viewpoint of the world. So I think it's very easy because I want people to know
Yes.
you're not weak and you're not broken just because you got sucked up into the world of a narcissist. Was there love bombing?
The first time I met him, it was very brief. A month later, I see him at a party. He comes up to me and says, "You and I would have cute kids together."
And on the second date, did he say, I love you?
He told me the second date that that's when he knew he fell in love with me. And then a month later, asked me to move in with him. So I would say that's love bombing.
Ladies, trust that the person that you're meant to be will be there in 6 months or a year. Get to
Yes.
know them first,
Yes.
right? Don't, because for me, it's like, you want to lock it down. This guy seems like the perfect guy. He
Hmm.
wants to move in. Okay. And then they're very persistent.
Very. This guy
Yeah.
chased me. He was, even the day of our wedding, I knew it was a mistake. And because something had happened at our rehearsal dinner, which I'll explain that in a second, because it's really important for your listeners to hear this story. But the morning of the wedding, I was like, there's no way I can marry this guy. And then he came to my room, to my suite, and convinced me to marry him. Even the morning of, I knew that I probably shouldn't have. But let's go back to the rehearsal dinner. We had 100 people there. It was a beautiful night. And his best friend couldn't be at the wedding because his wife was having a baby. So instead, he makes a video. The video was played at my rehearsal dinner without my ex previewing it first. And the video was this person literally making fun of me. So the video was his friend dressed up like me. And I guess there was another person in the video with a wig on that looked like my ex on the couch. And I'm coming over to him. This person's dressed like me saying, "Oh, I need money to go shopping." And he's like, "You max this card, you max that card, you max this card." I was not a gold digger. We started our company together. And my
Mm.
friends were so upset because that was a portrayal of me that didn't exist. I made my own money. I was super independent. So they were upset at my rehearsal dinner. So this video was played in front of 100 people. My parents were upset. It was mortifying. I didn't know what to do. So I just laughed, because what else are you going to do in front of 100 people but just kind of laugh and go along with it? That should have been the sign right then and there that this person is never going to protect me, is never going to care. He didn't even care enough to watch the video before my rehearsal dinner. He said it was fine. I'm like, you didn't even watch it knowing that your friend that made the video was like a jokester or inappropriate. That should
Yeah.
have been, I should not have walked down the aisle, because that was an indication right then and there that this person doesn't respect me.
So was he the same guy that said you were soft and needed to work out?
Yes.
Okay. People out there, ladies, the minute a man starts to try to sculpt you into the beauty that he wants, run for the hills.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to spruce yourself up for you, that's one thing. But what would you say to people about that?
That's exactly right, because I went down this whole path of surgery and, oh, I have to look better. The guy told me my legs look like baseball bats. I'm pregnant with his child. I gained all this weight because I gained 60 pounds during my pregnancy. He's calling himself a whale watcher. It just went on and on and on. And I was never going to be what this person wanted. I think that his vision of beauty is more of a Pamela Anderson type at that time, not who she is today, but who she was back then. I think that was like his vision of beauty. And that wasn't me. So after implants and getting myself in the best shape of my life, I definitely probably wasn't the person that he wanted, because fast forward, when he finally left, he left for a prostitute. He literally was paying a prostitute monthly to be with him. So he didn't
Wow.
want like a regular person like myself, because obviously, like, I was never like who I guess he envisioned in his mind. I'm not sure why he married me. Maybe because we started a company together. So here we
Mhm.
were already. And this is what your listeners have to be careful. These people try to suck you in any which way they can and control. So here I'm owning a company with this guy. We weren't even married yet. So we were already so intertwined with each other.
Yeah. It's interesting because narcissistic partners, narcissistic parents see their children or their partners as extensions of themselves.
Yes.
So their need to be perfect because they're a little wonky on that. They think they need to be perfect. Everyone has to be perfect around them to reflect well on them.
Yes.
How you do your
And
hair, how you talk, with whom you hang out.
And he made a comment to his mom early on. She said, "Why her? Why do you want to marry her so badly?" And he goes, "Because she's better than me." So in
In
his mind, I was going to elevate him in life.
right, the prize. So
Mhm.
it's 27 years is, I mean, I'm sure there are people out there going, well, how what?
Exactly.
To
What? Like,
27 years? What?
yeah, what kind of like mental state would this was this person in to tolerate? So it wasn't really that bad until 2009. He basically looked at me and told me he wasn't sexually attracted to me anymore. He stopped having sex with me. There was infidelity. I didn't know about the infidelity at that time, but the signs were there. And honestly, I was scared. I was afraid to leave.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
regret that.
Yeah, and no judgment whatsoever, because we're all out there, we're all doing the best we can, right?
Mhm.
I once asked a question of one of my guests, and he said it's devotion. Women stay for devotion. They're devoted to their man. And
Mhm.
so, and it overrides their own needs sometimes. And then
Yeah.
it is a form of abuse.
It is. I was so abused, even to this day. And I've done a lot of work. I'm working with a relationship coach now. Actually, she was on my show, Spicy Murray. And so during my sessions with her, she's like, every guy that you're meeting is an extension of your ex. So your listeners have to be careful when they get out of a relationship with a narcissist, because every person's been an extension of him. I've had a broke version of him. I've had an error version of him. Like all these people are versions of this guy. And until you do the work, that's what you're going to
Yes.
attract.
Until you do the work. I once said, so it was after my divorce.
Mhm.
We were a completely different situation. But I realized that I was attracting narcissists
Yeah.
strangely. And it occurred to me, and I thought, that's the same guy, different face.
Uh-huh.
I was creating a pattern. And so the way I was raised, the trauma, the narcissistic mother, I mean, all
Mhm.
the things, somehow there's a section in there where I found the father of my children kind of thing. Good man. It didn't work for many reasons. Now I had to find my core self-worth and foundation so that I didn't need somebody else telling me who I was or that I was worthy. And you're never going to be worthy enough for a narcissist. So,
Never.
yeah,
Never. You're never, it's never. And once these people or just anybody in a relationship cross certain boundaries, it never gets better. This guy literally left me 4 times and threatened to leave me like 30 times. And he finally left to be with this person who he's no longer with. And he was paying her. So this guy left me like a normal person, broke up
yeah.
the family, did everything to be with a person that he had to pay.
It has to do with intimacy. Healthy relationships grow and evolve beyond that first.
Yes.
Oftentimes, relationships end at 3 years because that's when that initial
Yes.
excitement wears off. Then it happens again around 7. They talk about 7-year itch.
Yeah.
And then around 12 or 13,
Yes.
where you were.
Where we were.
Um,
Yeah.
True healthy intimacy takes work, man.
He'll say, "Oh, but I tried." But he didn't really try because he never really worked on himself until now. Now
Mhm.
he's in therapy. Now he's working on himself.
Good for him.
Now he's doing what he needed to do back then. He's realized now because now he's pretty much lost so much that now he's willing to do the work. And that's what it takes sometimes. You have to hit rock bottom.
I'm
Right.
happy for him that he's finding what he needs to find. And I do believe that the contract between the two of you ended.
Whatever
Yeah.
that contract was, I'm sure it was because we were meant to have this company together because we were able to make enough money to help so many people and be charitable. And we have 2 kids, one's adopted from Russia. So many good things happen from this
Hmm.
marriage, but our
Hmm.
contract ended. Like this party's
Right.
over and we're just never going to be together. And that's the end
Good,
of
good,
it.
good. So, what are the top few things that you learned from being in that relationship?
The love bombing to that is number one. So for women out there, like your listeners, you have to be very careful with the men who are love bombers, the gaslighters, because all of that was going on. And I didn't even realize because he would blame me if he got caught cheating. Oh, but you used a nasty tone with me and you did this when we first met and you did that. And I'm like, wait, so it's my fault? And then I would believe it.
Yeah.
This is my
Yeah.
fault
Yeah. Yeah,
that
and
this
you're a
is happening.
highly intelligent human being. That's what I mean. Women out there need to know it's not that they're not smart.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
they're psychologically manipulated.
Oh, for
So,
sure I was. And also, when someone tells you over and over again that they're not sexually attracted to you, when he left the last time, I started seeing somebody, and this person was so attracted to me and kissed me like the first night I met him. And I was like, wait, what's going on? Why is he kissing me? Because I had no idea, because my husband hadn't kissed me in so long. And this person's so attracted to me. I'm like, wait, there must be something wrong with this person. Why is he so attracted to me?
yeah.
I just didn't even understand. And then fast forward, it didn't work out, but fast forward, I met somebody in October, and he's telling me how beautiful my legs are. And I'm like, wait, what? How can this person think my legs are so beautiful when my ex is telling me they look like baseball bats? Like
Yeah.
I never even understood it.
Right. So, what are the three things you learned about you internally
I
coming through
was damaged, weak. The whatever
that?
damage I had from childhood, I hadn't worked on. So I carried that into the relationship. I was insecure and scared.
Okay. So, I'm going to challenge that a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Because I don't think you were weak and damaged. You were not. You were loving and open. And yes, maybe you were seeking approval, or maybe you were seeking acceptance or what have you. But you are not, and I'm talking to people out there too, and I'm talking to myself, not a damaged and weak person. You were preyed upon.
Well, in general, I became weak. When I met him, I was a very strong person.
Yeah.
But throughout the years, I became a very weak, insecure person who was scared.
Okay. So now, fast forward, because I,
Right.
what are the things you actually learned the truth about yourself?
That
Those
I
are
am actually a very strong person, that, yes, I'm empathetic, but I'm actually very strong and a very driven person. And the person that I am now is the person I was before I met him. So I went full circle and found myself again.
Did you blame yourself? Have
A
you forgiven
hundred
yourself?
percent. No, no, I've forgiven myself now, but 100%. I was like, maybe this could have been done differently, or that could have been done differently. But now I realize that it doesn't matter what I did. There's no excuse for him to go down the path that he went down. This path of destruction of what he went down, another person can't cause that. That's within you.
In the beginning, you were trying to make yourself lovable to him,
Yes.
to perfect what Source had given you. And so you did these things. Which ones would you do again? And from what point of view would you do them? So that was for him to fix yourself. Now, if you do something, where are you coming from?
That was only like probably for the first 15 years. And then I decided I was doing these things for myself. So the one procedure I would definitely recommend and I would always do again would be the facelift. So I had a facelift at 47, which I think if you're noticing a lot of aging and sagging skin, do the facelift before you're 50, because then you can maintain with threads and filler as you age, instead of waiting until you're much older and doing the facelift, because then it's really hard for the surgeon to actually make you look as natural as they can in your 40s.
Mhm.
That's my opinion. I've seen a lot of women get facelifts when they're older, and sometimes their entire face, the shape changes.
Yeah.
You don't look as natural as you would as if you started when you were younger. So that would be the number one thing that I would recommend. There was one surgery I had to have, which was a vagina reconstruction because I had so much damage during the delivery, which I don't regret. But if you don't have a lot of damage, there are minor surgeries that you can do just to make yourself feel better. As we age, things don't look the same as they did when we were 20. So I like those two a lot. I have some regrets. Liposuction, I would not recommend on the stomach or the knees. That those two were a mistake for me. The stomach, they took out too much fat, so the skin started to sag. So I needed a
Mhm.
tummy tuck now that I never needed before. And the same with my knees. So my knees are sagging more than they probably would have if I hadn't taken the fat out. So I have to correct it nonstop with threads, and it's just like an uphill battle.
They would have to just, there's a cartoon somewhere where they basically lift everything on my body, tie it off on the top of my head, and then like cut it off. Because
Oh yeah, that's so
my
funny.
legs, my knees, my arms, my things. I had two babies. I don't think it's fixable. For like my thighs, for example, they are what they are. And so I'm just going to go with that. I call them soccer thighs. I wear the compressive
Oh, okay.
leggings. I look as good as I can. I'm
Mhm.
very active. I work out all the time. But there are just so many things I would have to do. I don't, you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, I mean, it happens. If you don't do these things along the way,
Mhm.
you'll wake up one day and it all hits you at once. I can see how that happens because I've done these things like along the way because gravity. You can do as many workouts as you possibly can in weightlifting because but genetics plays a part. So
Mhm.
if you're prone to cellulite, if you're prone to bigger thighs, like it happens.
Yeah, well, it happened.
Yeah.
So, there's a point at which, and you're not at the same place in life that I am in terms of age. We're like a decade apart. But there's a point at which I went, okay, a little Botox, maybe a little lip filler because I have thin
Yeah.
lips, a little bit of that, but I just can't. I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to go down the time.
Yeah.
I am in a relationship already, so that's part of it. But at what point is it enough? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know that I'll stop doing Botox ever.
Mhm.
That's a quick fix. But at what point do you say, good, I'm fabulous?
I'm happy now. There are a couple little things that I'll do in the future, but as far as like a major surgery, I won't do anymore. Because the first part of my book is all about the external work that I did, and then the second part's the internal work. And I've done enough internal work now where I'm not chasing anymore. So
Hmm.
I do maintenance, and that's not going to stop. I still get Botox, I still do a little bit of filler, I still do threads here and there. I won't do another major surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me
I
about the
won't.
inner work. Tell me about all of
Okay.
that.
So
Yeah.
the inner work started with a life coach that I used, and this was actually after during our third separation. So he had left me for the third time, and I started with this life coach, and he was like, "Look, you need to get all the toxic people out of your life. He's one of them. You have some toxic friendships." So it started with that. He and I did get back together for another year, and before we finally ended. But the toxic friendships were really important to eliminate from my life. And it just started with that. I started working with a spiritual healer that I randomly met in Sedona. She was great. And just balancing myself. So it got to the point where I started doing everything consistently. So my workouts were consistent, my lymphatic work was consistent, taking my peptides, my supplements, my sleep, not drinking, eating the right amount of protein. I started doing everything at once and being really consistent. And then I found myself really balanced and just mentally happy, just clear, just very, there's so much clarity. And moving forward, started dating again, realizing that the dating wasn't working out the way that it should have because, like I said, I was finding extensions of my ex and actually doing that work. So working with the relationship coach slash therapist has been very helpful.
What did you shift? What did you change such that you're not attracting that into your life now?
What we did was we started working. She has something called a growth guide. So we went back to the beginning of my childhood
Hmm.
and just healing those wounds. And really, she just brought so much, I mean, just putting everything into perspective. We went back from the beginning. She showed me certain points of my life where some trauma had happened and why I was acting the way that I did, why I was attracting the type of person that I was attracting. And just, I guess, just doing that work, I stopped attracting those types of people.
Right. So talk to me about, did you have a victim mentality, and where, at what point did you shift into, I am now a sovereign being, that I am not a victim?
Yeah, I definitely had the victim mentality, and I realized, okay, I need to take control over my life and really love myself. Because if you love yourself, you're not going to want those things for you. So now I'm super careful about the people that I meet. I won't tolerate anything now. If they're not like super respectful, then I won't speak to them.
Good, good.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I heard once, stop accepting the crumbs and calling it a banquet. So boundaries are huge,
Hmm. A
right?
100%.
When you see a red flag, you listen to it.
I'll run. So, for example, I met somebody in October in an elevator. I was in Los Angeles in the hotel elevator. He happened to be from Miami. I ended up going on a date with him. And we're sitting there, and he's telling me, and he's older than me, like a year older than me. And he's telling me on our date, "Oh, well, you're the oldest person that I've ever gone out with." I'm like, okay. And he goes, I'm seeing a girl right now in LA and she's 35, but we're not going to be together because I'm not moving back to LA and she's not moving to Miami. But I actually think you're really pretty. So I want to continue to see you. Well, of course, I'm never going to see this guy again. So
Yes.
he said at the end of the date, he's like, well, I won't call you. I'll let you decide. You can call me. I'm like, fine. So I wanted to be polite. So the date ended. He FaceTimes me before I even got to my house. And he's like, oh, I just want to say goodnight. I'm like, okay, good night. The next day he calls me again and he said, I said, oh, I thought you weren't going to call me. You're going to let me call you. Then he goes to dinner with a friend, shows his friend my Instagram and said, oh, I went out with her. She's really nice. The friend messages me and it asks me out. So now I have his friend messaging me on Instagram. And I said, oh, do I know you? Philip gave me your information and said that I should reach out to you. And I was like, he did what? So I messaged the guy and I said, why are you giving my information to go out with your friend? He's like, I never did that. I just told him about you and said that I had a great time with you. And that's when I said, I'm never speaking to you again. Please don't give my information. My Instagram isn't like a dating circus show. And he's like, no, please. So the next day he asked me out again. So now we're at Thursday. The date was on Sunday. Now we're at Thursday. I'm like, no, I'm not going out with you. Lose my number. We are not, this is over.
Okay, so it took you 4 days instead of 27 years. Yes.
Yes.
I do a lot of segments on Second Act TV, which is a dating and relationship channel on YouTube
Mhm.
for people over 50. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
run by a woman, Silke Schwarzkopf, and she's got different experts on. And we
Fun.
talk a lot about red flags, yellow flags, green flags, listening to your gut.
Mhm.
The other side, too, that we have found, we get a lot of feedback. It's great. People are coming in with lists and they're not giving people a chance. It's like red flag out. So you really have to combine both your mind and your heart, the intuition to know.
I agree. I don't like the lists because all my friends that had lists are now with people that would never have been on their list. They just went by meeting somebody and just having a connection.
I had a list, but it was not a, he has to be this, exactly this. It was more of, I want a loving person, somebody
Oh,
that
yeah, of course. Those
loves,
lists.
who's
Yeah.
spiritual,
Yeah.
somebody, that. So to me, that's getting clear. And then what the person I was working with said, make the list of 20 things. Now, which of those are you not? That's what you have to work on because it's a law
Oh,
of attraction, right?
that's true. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So using a list that way, I think is very powerful. And
Yes.
I accidentally met the love of my life. I was never going to get married again. I was never going to be in a relationship again. I was never going to do this. Voila. He walked in and it was like, oh, all right, fine.
So you knew right away.
Well, he knew right away, but he had been divorced for 10 years. I call him the Joni whisperer because he just allowed things to unfold and he was honest and he was open and he was clear and all the things. And so finally, I don't know, 4 or 5 months into it, I said, okay, I don't know why it took me so long, but I love you too.
So you were the slow burn.
I was at a slow burn. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You were.
Yeah.
And he was patient.
He was patient. He's also does coaching, mentorship. He was very, very conscious.
Mhm.
So it was a completely different walk, I should say. So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. But that was after a lot of work on my part too, or else I'm sure I wouldn't have been attracted to him.
Exactly. So I
Right.
do have a list of what you're saying of what I want.
Mhm.
And hopefully I attract that person. But now I'm going to go back through the list and make sure that I'm all those things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and living life from a place of openness, of
Mhm.
curiosity, of where can I improve? What so I just had this interaction with this person and what was my part in it?
Mhm.
The old me 15 years, 20 years ago would have been that jerk. It's blah 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 blah. And now it's a wow. Okay, this is a mirror. Where's the mirror? Is it a past mirror? Is it a present mirror? Is it a future mirror? What do I need to learn here? What do I need to, if somebody pisses me off because they're really angry, I guess
Right.
I still got some anger in there that I need to
Yeah.
soften. So to always come to life and from life curious,
Mhm.
especially on a dating journey. I mean, that's the greatest university of all for ourselves.
How
So
long were you single before you met this person?
a year and a half.
Okay, so it's the same as me.
Yeah. And I was having a good time dating. I mean, I was having so much fun because it was the first time in my life, and this ties into this whole conversation. It was the first time in my life where I felt I was beautiful, where I actually owned my beauty. And part of it was I had, for the first time in my life, become an athlete. I was doing the facials and I was doing the Botox. I was doing what I could, but I really owned that I was as beautiful as I could be at 57. That's when this was taking place. And it didn't matter that my thighs were my thighs and I had the grandma arms. Who cares? Because it's not my soul. And that was the first time I owned myself as a soul. And then the body, this vehicle, was this kind of cool thing that allows me to be here on planet Earth and do this journey. So in my 20s, I'm sure I was prettier. Things were smoother, but I didn't think I was pretty at all. Not at
Wow.
all. Yeah. So that's the journey to find our soul, to find ourselves, to own that piece. So, what are you doing now in terms of that journey,
The dating journey
the soul
or
owning
the soul?
journey?
I'm still working with my therapist, and I feel much better than I ever have in terms of compared to how I was before. I'm sure I still have a lot of improvements to make. I'm not actively on apps or anything. I just meet people organically.
Mhm.
And I don't really have a hard time meeting people. It's not that difficult. I haven't gone down the path of going on Hinge or Bumble or any of those. So it's just basically like meeting people organically. And I feel really good. I feel really good of where I am right now in terms of my career and being able to help other people, explaining my journey and explaining everything that's happened to me. I'm very honest and open and vulnerable. So
Good.
that's helpful to people because you can look at somebody and think a million things like, oh, this person, everything's so perfect in their life. And it's far from that.
Yeah. So, how tips, tricks, hacks? What do you recommend to people out there who won't go on a dating site or have been
Mhm.
burned by dating sites? Because I have to confess, I was not good at the whole in-person thing.
Oh,
You know,
really? See, I don't know much about the apps because I went on one when we were separated for the third time and I lasted for a day and a half on there because I didn't even understand it. I was like, okay,
yeah.
this is confusing. So I don't really understand that world, to be honest
Mhm.
with you. I had a matchmaker that I paid back then, and I've been on a few dates through the matchmaker, and they were disastrous. So
Mhm.
I'm not really doing that. So I literally just meet people organically. I think it's like an energy thing when
Mhm.
you're out and you're having fun. Like you said, like laws of attraction, people are seeing that you're happy and that you're energetic and they want to meet you or they want to see what this is about. And I'll smile at people.
That's important.
Yeah. My friends laugh at me because my eyes are bigger and I have a big smile. So when I meet people, they could be like across the bar. And if I like look at them and I smile, they think it's like an open invitation, even though it's just my personality
Yeah.
to just come over and say hi. So that
Yeah.
part hasn't been hard at all to meet somebody organically.
So so there's you bring up something really important because I'm a very open person and I like to smile, I like to have fun, and I like to engage people, and I like people to feel the joy I'm feeling. But I realize that I have to be very careful because I have to be careful that it doesn't flow over into flirtation. I think
Yes,
I'm very good at the delineation between the two energies, although some people may misconstrue kindness for flirtation anyway.
they do.
Yeah. So how do you, first of all, where do you put yourself out there? Because that's a huge thing. You can't just sit at home and hope that the guy's going to come knock on the door.
No, I was going out a lot. So after the separation, I was out every night. Didn't matter where I was. I mean, either at dinner or out with friends. So I went out a lot. I was traveling a lot and I was dating a lot. Like at one point, I had 8 people in a rotation that I was talking to, which that was like a major juggling act, which I don't recommend, but I was doing that. And then fast forward, this last summer, I decided, okay, this isn't really making me happy. I need I was going to Europe for the summer and I wanted to have a summer without dating. And I met people while I was away, but I didn't pursue anything. I just stayed to myself for the summer. And then I went to the Hamptons in August. The first night that I'm out in the Hamptons, I'm sitting at a bar with my friend and I see this guy walk in and I just looked at him and smiled. And of course, he comes right over and then we started seeing each other. But he said, "Oh, you did this with your eyes and your teeth." And that's when I realized, okay, that gave him an open invitation to come over. And we met, and it was like all wrong. It's not somebody I really should have hung out with at all. But what you're saying, that's just me, my personality. And I told him that's just my personality. I was just like laughing because as soon as he walked in, this woman like ran over to him. So I'm watching this whole thing just laughing. And he's looking at me like, oh, she likes me. So
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. I
Yeah.
have to be careful of that because I
Yeah.
am like super friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was single, I would probably
Mhm.
be shyer about being friendly. What if they reject me? Or so how do people get over that? Just put
I-
themselves out there.
Yeah, I think you just have to put yourself out there because not everybody's gonna like you or find you attractive
Good
because
point.
people have their types. So not everybody's gonna feel like that, but there are people that will. And for me, it's a little difficult because I live in Miami. So Miami is a whole different world. And that's what the guy told me. I forgot the elevator guy. He was like, you're gonna have to, because I'm not intimate with people easily. And he was like, you're gonna have to change that because every guy in Miami, your age, wants a younger woman. And he's not wrong. A lot of
If
men my age want a younger woman.
the
So
younger women can have them. That's all I'm
yes, and the
saying.
younger women, most of the time, they have to pay them or with gifts or whatever. It's like a beauty for money exchange. So he's telling me this on the date, and I'm like, and of course, I'm like, I'm never seeing you again. But he's actually right because in Miami, you see a lot of that. But in other parts of the world, you don't. I meet people in LA, I meet people wherever, and it's a lot easier, I think, than for me actually going out in Miami because the men that I meet in Miami are a lot younger than me because the older guys, the good guys who are married, they're not out,
Right.
right?
Right.
They're home
Right.
with their wives.
So it occurs to me, so you're talking about LA, you're talking about the Hamptons, which
Mhm.
I've never been to, and you're talking about Miami. So these are hubs. These are
Yes.
cultural hubs with millions and millions of people. And the currency is different than, say, most of America,
Yes.
right? So I feel for you because it's not about authentic connection. It's about what people look like oftentimes.
Yeah.
I realize the starkness of that because I lived in LA for 50 years.
Okay, so you
So
know.
I was born in Ohio, so there is a Midwestern quality to me. But I was definitely with the designer glasses and all the things. And then we moved to this tiny town where there are actual real people, which they're not real people in LA, but just real people.
Mhm.
And what matters is very different. I'm not even sure where I'm going with that, but I think working on the authentic piece, because we talk about that a lot, working on just being you. And I thought there's got to be something that is in alignment with my journey, what I'm doing in my life. And so that's why I met John. And I went, oh man, I'm in trouble. I'm just in trouble. And then we had a 2 hour lunch. That was the beginning. And I'm like you, when I'm dating for relationship, there is no intimacy until
Mhm.
there is friendship. There's
Yeah.
foundation. That is a precious, divine thing that you're sharing. And when a man is intimate with you, there's that oxytocin that binds the female to the male. It doesn't happen with the male. So now you're at a disadvantage, right? Hormonally, you're bound to the guy in a way.
Yes.
And then also energetically, you're sharing energy. It's just very sacred to me.
And they don't feel the same because for them it's like an athletic event.
Yes. Yeah. For most men, you're
Yes.
completely correct. It is an athletic event.
Mhm.
So, what have I not asked you? What would you like to talk about?
So there are men out there who actually are slower and more intentional.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's the thing, too. And it's really important that you said that. I never, ever want to paint all men as one thing or all women as one thing. We are all so individual. Yes, there are a lot of men out there who want younger women, but there are
Mhm.
a lot of, John's 2 years younger than me. So it wasn't about the age or the acquisition or the trophy or anything. It was about his soul meeting mine.
Yes.
So there is no one paintbrush fits all in this dating world.
So do
So
you think that your souls were connected from a past life?
I have no evidence of past lives, but I'm
Right.
so open to all that. It's
Yes.
very, I would say yes, probably very likely. But I had done so much spiritual work. I have a metaphysical counseling degree. So that
Oh,
was
wow.
one piece. And I have a coaching certification. That was another piece. So these are the things that led into me meeting him. I had to get to a certain vibration or level of energy and understanding before I met him. And since then, it's been 8 years. We've been
Wow.
doing retreats together, and we've been doing, and we have what I call brain sex in the morning, where we sit in front of the fire and we talk about the most extraordinary things that matter to me. It's a fascinating chapter of my life.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I want to go back to and pull a thread on something that you said earlier, if that's
Okay.
okay. You were talking about self-care and you were talking about lymphatic something
Yes.
or other. What is your routine in taking care of yourself? I just do my own sort of qigong lymphatic massage in a
Mhm.
steam room, and we do the hot tub. I mean, there's all these things.
Yeah.
I
No,
want to
I
hear
do
more.
it manually. So every
Okay.
day I use different tools. So for your listeners, dry brushing is super important. And then I use a steel gua sha from like my stomach area. And for the legs, there's a device called a fascia blaster. So I use that. It's called Ashley Black is the creator of that fascia blaster. And then there's a new tool that I got called the Glow, and that's more electric than the fascia blaster. That's a manual thing, but the Glow it does the same thing. And the gua sha for the face. So there are a bunch of tools that you can use, but these are easy. The
I've
fascia
never heard of a
blaster.
gua sha. What's a gua sha?
Oh, the gua sha that you use for your face, mine's steel. So it's like this big, and you can get it in like a jade or quartz. It's just for lifting.
Oh,
I use the steel one because I'm always breaking them.
are these the things you put in the freezer, or you just
Yeah, you can put
like
it in the freezer. Yeah, just for lifting. So
they
I
look like
use
little
that.
paintbrush rollers?
Yeah. So I use that on my stomach and I use it on my face. And you're hitting all the lymphatic points.
Yeah.
And then the dry brushing is super important. And you move like upward, and the Glow or the fascia blaster. And it helps with cellulite too. Like I don't have cellulite anymore because of doing all this work. Plus the protein was really important. So I'm doing 100 grams a day and the weightlifting.
Yes, weightlifting.
Mhm.
Absolutely. They say after 30,
Yes.
women start to lose bone, right?
Yeah.
Density. So how you work out 2 or 3 times a week?
6. So I do weightlifting 6 days a week. And I don't
Wow.
usually miss. Like here and there I will, but wherever I travel to, like right now I'm in Cabo, so my trainer comes with me virtually. That's another big thing for your listeners where you have to stay consistent. Even if you're going on vacation for 2 weeks, still do your workouts. Even if you're somewhere where there isn't a gym, I take weighted bands with me that I got on Amazon
Mhm.
because after 2 weeks you start to lose all the muscle that you built. So people are not consistent because they'll go to the gym and then they're like, "Oh, I'm on vacation." Well, that doesn't stop. Like you have to still work out.
I'm on vacation eating everything I can.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, it sounds like you have a very fun life. You're down in Cabo. So all of this that has happened, all of the things you're doing, the book that you've written for people to help them, where are you going with all of this?
So basically, From Bullshit to Botox was the first book, and the second book is From Bullshit to Broken Hearts. I just got a publishing deal for actually we're republishing the first one. They're publishing the second, and I'm have a book deal to do the third. So I don't have the third one yet. I'm actually gonna write that while I'm here in Cabo. And I started the show, Party's Over. So the Party's Over has 3 segments. So the first one's about reverse aging. The second one's about toxic relationships, which is the second book. And then the third is a spill it, where my friend Vita and I talk, somebody writes in and we just talk about a scenario, which is actually super funny. So everything is humorous, but important topics, but everything's written and said in like kind of a humorous way. So it's not like super deep and heavy, but still sends the same message.
Yeah, which is also don't take yourself too seriously.
Right, exactly. So that's basically where my life is headed. I'm just working on the books and the show, which I'm super busy with all of this. And then sometimes people reach out on Instagram, like I walked New York and Paris, like the runway for a designer. So I've just been meeting people
Wow.
along the way. Yeah,
Are
so
you
it's fun.
tall?
No, I'm 5'6".
I'm
I'm so
5'6".
you are. So I'm so
Yep.
surprised that she asked me to begin with, but so I did it
So
and it was an
cool.
experience. Yeah.
Good for you. All right. So where can people find you? What's the website or Insta, whatever?
Insta Sandra Lena Silverman. My website, Sandra Lena Silverman. From Bullshit to Botox is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And then From Bullshit to Broken Hearts will be out by September. And the show is on YouTube and all podcast platforms. It's called Parties Over Show. And that's all on my website as well.
Okay, great. All right. They can get the books and they can follow
Yeah.
you and all the things.
Yes.
So, one last question, if I may, then we'll wrap it. How do you recommend that the listeners live their most alive lives?
Whatever they can do to love themselves. I feel like when you get to the point where you love yourself, everything will open up for you. Like for you, finding the right person, everything opens up when you take that time and you put the effort into figuring out how to love yourself. And I feel like that will allow you to live your best life.
I love that. Thank you so much. And thank
Thank
you for
you.
being here. I,
Thank you
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate you and your time and your journey. Thank you for listening to Wake Up with Joni. If this conversation moved you, stirred something in you, or gave you language to what you've been feeling, please take a moment to rate, review, and share this episode with somebody you care about. It truly helps these conversations reach the ones who need them most. If you're ready to learn how you too can live an embodied, excellent life, I invite you to connect with me directly, schedule a session through my Calendly, or explore my book, Stop, Look, Choose Your Journey to Peace and Freedom to Uncover and Sustain Your Aliveness. You can find everything at wakeupwithjoni.com. Now, my favorite part, beautiful humans, it's your turn to go out and live your most alive lives.